This Season podcast, where we unpack the most empowering conversations, have exclusive and inspirational interviews, and host special events. Join Tammy, some call her Butterfly, and explore life's purpose by learning how to embrace each season of your life with confidence, strength, and purpose. Whether you're blooming in the spring, or shining in the summer, or embracing change in the fall, or gracefully hibernating in the winter, get ready to be inspired. Join us right here on this season of In This Season podcast with your host, the Butterfly. It's time, no matter what season it is.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, beautiful people. Let's do what we do. We got our special guest pulled in. Happy Thursday. Who's in with us? Say good morning as we groove this day on in. We got Mr. Epic. He said he can't call it. Might call it this morning.
Can't call it. Might.
Yeah, y'all ready for this day? Can't call it. Might call it. You're going to tell us what that really means.
What's that?
Mr. Epic, you got to tell us this morning what that phrase really, really means.
Things are so great. I don't want to spoil it.
All
Things
right.
are so great. I can't spoil it.
Who's grooving? Let us know. Monique said good morning. You grooving it in, Monique? You on this day. Gonna take position. Take your position. Cindy Davis says this is one Friday Eve. All right. Y'all shake it out. Hey. Come on now. All right, let's get this business started. That feels so good. Feed them ducks. That's feeding life, y'all. Who else has come in? We got a couple of people. Big Al says,
You still feeding those ducks?
yes. I'm going to feed them every morning. I'm going to get mine. I'm going to get my ducks, your ducks. I'm going to feed my ducks, your ducks. If yours hungry, I'm going to feed them too so I can get the blessings of feeding.
That's what I'm talking about.
Alvin Williams Jr. is in the house. Today is, you said what? What is today?
Today is Thursday.
Yes. Did you hear me say, Miss Brenda says happy, she says it's Friday Eve, which means it's Thursday. Alvin Williams Jr. is in the house. Big Al Sal, known to me.
Good morning. Sal?
And Monique says, yes, she is grooving it on in. So, y'all welcome. How was your yesterday? Did you contemplate on what you, I'll say, did you digest what you ate here yesterday? Did you let it simmer? So, thankful that Trent came back to join me. Thankful that Cousin Toy was in yesterday. A beautiful thing came out of that because as we talked off the air, she's going to go to see Brandon fight. She and about 3 friends. They're going to be in Tampa. So she's driving down from Jacksonville to Tampa. She and some friends, I think she has some friends that lives in Tampa. So they're going to get together and go to Brandon's fight, which makes me feel so much better because he now has family there. He has friends who are like family, the guys, his coach and the guys who train with him. But still, yeah, it's nothing like a mother finding out that he's going to have some fam there. And y'all heard her say she'll go 0 to 100 in a minute. She used to, but I think it's still right. Yeah, when it comes to family. So I'm grateful. So I was so thankful because, again, I had mentioned that it just kind of fell in my heart to ask her to be on the show. And so perhaps that would not have happened if she had not been on the show and we talked in depth after that. So, I'm just looking for God everywhere and everything, y'all, no matter what it looks like. I'm saying, okay, God, we're here. Now what? While I might not understand, I trust you and I trust that you always have good, that you're forever present. So I know you're here in this moment. What do we do? And then I got a call from Brandon last night and he sounded so like empowered and happy and in a zone that a mother just knows. Because before I was like the night before, I just kept tossing and kind of turning. But I was like, wow, I'm going to sleep well tonight. And in fact, it energized me. I stayed up a little bit later than I should did some things, but a mother just knows, she can hear that voice and tell where her child is, what kind of place, what state he or she
Right, right.
is in. I mean, a mother, right? A mother, right? So,
Stuff, good stuff.
anything from you this morning before we
No, I just realized I just got a message from Catherine over in France. I'm pulling double duties today because I got a podcast.
this morning?
Yeah, I didn't even. Today's Thursday.
Oh,
I
sure
gotta do it.
is.
Yeah,
What time?
it's gonna be 8:30 Central, 3:30
Okay.
France, and 6:30 East African. So I'll have some time.
So you guys, that's the show about your health. That's the one we were talking about, the soy. We brought up the soy when I listened that day, and she was talking about soy here is not, good for us. So y'all try to listen, especially Mike. You're deep into the season of what we put in our bodies, right? So you should listen if you get an opportunity this morning.
So today
Maybe
we're
I can
talking
share
about
it.
what is cancer. What is cancer?
Hmm.
So yeah, it should be a good one. So I got to pull double duties before I get to the gym.
Right. Wow. Okay. So let's get on this. Big Mike says, "Good morning, everyone." So maybe
Morning, Mike.
I can. I'll share the link, Trent, if
Okay.
you will send it to me because I've not seen it out there, or I can get it off of StreamYard.
I totally forgot. I've been waking up with you
Okay. Okay.
until I forgot to do it. So I'm gonna do it as we doing this show.
Okay. Super.
I'll create
Super.
the
Super.
link as
Super.
we do the show.
All right. So let's do what we do so we can make room for the other barbecue right here on this same platform, you guys. So if you can support Brother Trent after we're off of here, I'll try to listen in too as I prepare for the day. So what are we doing here? What's going on? Daily motivations for African American success will help you focus on the thoughts, attitudes, and deeds that will lead you to the achievement of your true goals. Your true goals, great people. In 365 short but powerful motivations, one for each day of the year, Dennis Kimbro, who is also the author of the popular Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, leads us to discover how to use the present moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, cultivate a positive attitude, become wise enough to know when to say yes, but also, and more important to me, is when to say no and when to look inward for answers to life's challenges. Each motivation begins with words of wisdom from such distinguished and celebrated African Americans, such as, but not limited to, Malcolm X, Marion Wright Elderman, Whoopi Goldberg, Charlene Hunter Gout, Bill Cosby, Carl Rowan, and hundreds of others. This treasure trove of practical inspiration will give you fresh encouragement every day of the year. But what it teaches will and should last a lifetime. Black Enterprise says that each affirmation in this valuable and thought provoking book takes only a few minutes to read, but is worthy of more time for contemplation. Again, thank you guys for coming to the barbecue and fixing you a big plate. We want you to take a plate
Good
home
stuff. Good
with you
stuff.
as you exit as well. So, are we ready? Conversation with Trent over there. You good?
We're definitely ready.
All right. So today's topic, let me get this baby going here. I should have put this out there earlier. You guys, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and give you the quote as well. So today's topic, aid to families with dependent children. And our quote for the day, if you can't hold children in your arms, please hold them in your heart.
Mm.
If you can't hold children in your arms, please hold them in your heart. And this comes from the founder of the Hale House. And it looks like it's Clara Hale is her name. Wow. Y'all, I just read this one like as I was waiting to pull you guys in. And I shared with Trent, this is a tearjerker. Like I had to get myself together, like, okay, now you got to get this together so you can read this. All
Right.
right, so staggering amounts of manpower and money are devoted each year to discovering, understanding, and harnessing the forces of nature. Almost everyone agrees, however, that one of the greatest forces on earth is love. The real wealth of a nation does not come from mineral resources, but from what lies in the hearts of its people. May I read this again? The real wealth of a nation does not come from mineral resources, but from what lies in the hearts of its people. Several years ago, a grief stricken mother sat motionless in a New York hospital with tears streaming down her cheeks. She had just lost her only child. Down the same hall where her daughter had died sat a little boy. The woman did not notice him. A head nurse who saw both the mother and the child saw an opportunity and took it. She approached the woman, pointed out the small child. That little boy's mother, the nurse confided, was brought in by ambulance a week ago. She was in a car accident and lies in a coma. Every day her son sits here from sunup to sundown with the hopes that his mother will pull through. Hmm. The two of them are the only family they have. The woman stopped her tears long enough to listen. The nurse continued, just a few minutes ago, his mother died. Now it is my responsibility to tell this little fellow that his mother is gone. I'll, I'll break his heart. The nurse paused, then turned to the woman and said, I don't suppose that you would tell him for me. I know it's part of my job, but I just can't bear to do it. The grieving woman stood, dried her eyes, walked through the corridor, and put her arms around the tiny child, and she took him home. So many of our children are found in the same situation. Let's embrace them and give them a home. And the affirmation for today: today I will volunteer my time to be a big brother or big sister to one Black child. Today I will volunteer my time to be a big brother or big sister to one Black child. I made it through. Oh, wow. I made it through. So, you want to start?
Now you go ahead. You just, I, when you said it, I didn't think that it would be as bad as you said it. So go ahead. I heard you mention a mother passing, and go ahead.
Mm,
I'll be ready.
okay. All right. Um, Gosh, I don't know where to start here. Oh man, I see Tori. I guess she's trying to get in.
Did you even send this to me?
I didn't. I
Last
didn't send it out because I didn't think you needed it. Because most times you don't read them anyway. You just come on and do. You like Brandon. You just come on and do what you do. So I didn't
Yeah,
send it. I didn't read it until just
I didn't
a little
expect
bit
this one.
ago.
No, I didn't expect this one. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
no, it's
didn't.
cool. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, it is. I think Tori. I'm gonna let her in.
Because as you know, I still deal with my
With your mom, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I thought the first person I thought about in reading this, and I did ask for permission, and I think I got it. Let's see. Yes. Was our little Tyson. And y'all know,
Gosh,
y'all heard Bo, Bo was part of the Butterfly Evolution
yeah,
family for a while, he was on probably every show and he talked. Y'all know Bo he was very
very talkative.
Yeah, he spoke what he thought and what he believed, and he
Exactly.
supported what he believed. He was he was always present. So I thought about Tyson, because Tyson is really, he's gotten older, and it's interesting because he was young when his
How old
father.
is he now?
He's 8, 9, Tasha. 8. He's going to have a birthday, so I think he'll be 9.
Wow.
Well, I hope it's not 10, because that's going to be too old, too quick. So Tasha,
Happy
help
early
us.
birthday, Tyson.
Yeah, and yeah, he'll be turning I think 9 in October
Wow.
next month.
Time
But as
flies.
it seems, time flies. It seems the older that he gets, the more he remembers about his dad.
That's a
He
good thing.
starts,
But that's a good thing, though.
but it's so tough, Trent. So tough. Because this is what, and as I thought about him, there's so many of us, especially, yeah, he'll be 9. Thank God it's not 10, because I'm like, that's just too fast, too soon. So,
Right.
and I'm in this season of life. It is what it is. It ain't gonna do me. And by that I mean, if it comes up, if the situation or circumstance comes up, and I feel the need to speak on it,
Just
I
go ahead and
can't
let it
call it.
rip.
Right, you gotta let it rip. We have a plethora of men in our family who have a duty, a
Right.
responsibility to Tyson as a man. Do you hear me?
Absolutely.
We have a young man who is angry, who his mom heard him say, "I'm angry at God," as she was standing outside his room. We have a young man who says, "Well, can we go buy a heart and then go put it in my dad? Will that help?" We
Sounds
have
like
a
a Moses
plethora of
father.
men in our family who should be picking him up, scheduling a time with him, teaching him the ways of a man. Because you know what? The mom is grieving herself.
Right.
And what we do as mothers, we're nurturers, right? When you are a mother, you almost don't know how to do anything but that. And that's where the balance comes in of I was having a conversation with Mr. Johnson at Walmart, the guy I spoke to you about, who ate the pig feet,
Yeah.
who had the dream of the pig feet. And he had
Yeah.
said to me about, we were talking about men and fathers, and I had the opportunity to share. There was a time when I was mentoring young boys and men, actually, y'all,
Mhm.
and the devil got into that as well. But so I don't do it like I used to and should. But every opportunity I get, I'm pouring into a child. Every opportunity I get, or into a mother or a father, right? Who can now pour into the child. Because we talked about, did anybody get hurt yesterday? Everybody got hurt. And you know what we're doing? We're pouring that hurt into our children.
But I'm glad you brought that up, right? And this is for black men in particular. I'm so glad you brought that up. I was fortunate to have two mentors when I went out to LA. One was Bob Williams, which was my older cousin. Yeah, went to UCLA and stayed out that way and made a life for himself. Became an executive of a recycling company over in China, along with David, who I met. He was the OJ's drummer and Tisha Campbell's father. Became a mentor of mine at a very young age. Was very significant in my life. So I can completely agree with that because I still have a relationship with those men today, still to this day. And a ton of
What
stuff that
what
they spoke with
what
me
does that
on
mean to
resonating with
you?
me still to this day. I'm
Like
sorry.
what did that mean to you? As because for a great deal of your life, parts of your life, some parts, you did not have your father right there and present, right? Some
My father was always there. My father was a very
I mean,
busy man, and
right.
in the beginning stage of my life, as far as at 4, my father and my mother split, and the family was in turmoil for quite some time. And it was tough. It was tough because I had some resentment, dealing with some resentment. He was always there financially,
Mhm.
always. took
Mhm.
care of his kids, everything, very responsible. But what I needed was something else. I needed
And Trent,
something else.
if I may, most men, you guys, and even in the documentary that we're going to be presenting here soon, Irreplaceable, most men think my duty, because if you talk to a father and a son or a daughter who are going through something, right? There's a
Yeah,
disconnect. The father will say, I was working. Like, you never came to any of my games. I was working so that you could go to the game, that you could have what you need for the game. And so, in a sense, they feel like they are to provide, protect, right?
right.
To make sure things stay in
He
order
was all of
or
that. He was definitely Big
right,
Will was definitely all of that.
right. And sometimes, again, they think, even my dad himself, until I told my dad, until I called him that day to say, hey, this is your daughter. Today's
Right,
my birthday. And all I want to do is hear you say happy birthday. I want
right.
nothing else from you, no money, no gift. I just want my dad to tell his firstborn, his daughter, happy birthday. But when I
Wow.
started to ask, even for him coming here, like one day while driving in, I was just like, he said something about him going somewhere out of town. I was like, you know what? I feel some kind of way about this. And I
Uh-oh.
shared to what I shared it. And this was last year. And
Right, right.
my dad took off work without pay and spent 2 weeks here.
That's
Two
good.
weeks. But I asked for it. So you guys, not just with your father, we got to learn to ask for what we need. Um, and sometimes when you see that a person is in need, like our this beautiful nurse here, she seized an opportunity. She didn't think about, oh, whoa, I might be fired, because at the beginning and the end of the day, you work for God. And our
Pretty much.
job is to bring glory to his kingdom, to help
Pretty
meet the
much.
need of a people, especially our children. So it says here, if you can't hold the children in your arms, if you can't have children, and some of us want to have them, but we don't want the sleepless nights. We don't want to see those sleepless nights, as I said yesterday, and I got that from that big video. We don't want
Hmm.
to see the sleepless nights as part of the blessing. They are children, so you should expect to have some sleepless nights. As my grandmother used to say, you will become as they grow older, you appreciate the sleepless nights because you, when they're older, she says they're on your heart. You've lost a sense of control because you don't know where they are. You don't know what they're doing, right?
Right.
So this was a beautiful, beautiful story. What lies in the hearts of its people. Now, like, there she is. Hi, Toy.
Hi, I'm having technical difficulty. Good morning,
Good
y'all.
morning. Thank
Good
you for
morning. Good
coming
morning.
back
Good
to
morning.
join
Good
us.
morning.
I don't know if you got to hear this teardropper.
I heard a little bit and then I don't know what happened. I got a message and I couldn't hear you guys. Um,
Okay.
give me a little bit of
So
feedback.
this is aid to families with dependent children, and we had a mother who had just lost her only child, and where her daughter lied, there was a little boy who had been there for a few days, maybe a week or so, because his mother was in an accident, and about the same time he lost his mother, and so you had a grieving mother who had lost her only child and a young boy who had lost his mother, and they were the only two in the family. And the nurse saw an opportunity to tell this mother, who had lost her only child, here's a child right here beside you that you don't see. He's lost his mom. Can you tell him, because I cannot bear to? And so, one of the greatest things here that I got out of, well, the passage itself, what lies in the hearts of its people, it says the real wealth of a nation does not come from the mineral resources, but from what lies in the hearts of its people. Because you got to have a heart to deal with your own children sometimes, right? And to think
Right.
about bringing a child in, or just to have a love for people, for children. right? But that comes from a place where you love yourself and love God. I read a story, my beautiful daughter in love, I think it's the one sent it to me. There's this guy who he adopts kids who are um, physically sick to the point where they've been diagnosed as they will not live long. So he adopts them and makes their life the greatest with the little time he has with all of them. What a beautiful story. It also reminded me, y'all, I had said, I never want kids. I want to adopt. I just felt like there were too many kids in this world who were homeless, meaning no mother, no father.
Right.
They're in a foster system that is just a system. But more importantly, we have kids, as I mentioned Tyson, in our families that tells me what lies in the hearts of some of our people, right? And Toy, I mentioned that I have a a a little cousin, nephew, I call him, who lost his father. You may have listened and heard Bo on the show back when it was Butterfly Evolution, but Bo passed away, and little Tyson was about 2 years old, Tasha 2, 3, and he's getting ready to be 9, but he's starting to remember more about his father. And mom heard him say to God, "I'm angry at you." She heard it in passing, and that he also asked his mom, is it possible to buy a heart, to purchase a heart, and then go put it in his dad's body so that he could wake up? And so my point to this was, because our affirmation says, today I will volunteer my time to a big brother or a big sister, or to one black child, be a big sister, a big brother to one black child. And I thought about us, and even me too. I could do more as a woman, as a mother, as a cousin. But Tyson needs a man in his life. He needs a father figure. And there are too many damn men in our family for him to not, for Tasha to be like, well, no, somebody got him today. Well, okay, somebody else got him today. Thank you for calling, but they're going to spend this weekend with him. They're going to take him somewhere. They're going to do this with him.
Right.
There are too many damn men in our family, but we're too busy. You chasing dresses, chasing them dollars, right? And I
Yeah.
don't give a damn if you listen to this and you get mad. Call me
Uh-oh.
if you need somebody to talk to. I
Uh-oh.
got you. And I don't
Yeah,
mean
in
that in a
today's
bad way,
society,
but
man.
it is what it is. It
That's
is
right.
what it
In
is.
today's society, especially today, as far as men, I don't look upon this new generation as I'm always telling my friends, like, I don't know those folks. Them guys that date those new guys, I don't know those guys. Even though I had mentors, I had two men. I was fortunate to have two mentors, right? It wouldn't happen today because we're so self-centered in today's society, in today's climate. We're very self-centered. But thanks to Bob knowing the background of the Williams family, he knew that my father and my mother hadn't split when I was 4, and when I went out to LA, he just took to me,
Hmm.
and I was fortunate to have David come in my life. He's over in New York. He was from New York. He was a drummer for the OJs, and I still have great relationship with those guys still to this day. And I still use some of the things that they taught me still to this day, this very day. And I'm 54 years old. So it's very important for a man, most important, a black man to mentor black kids. Actually,
Amen.
I think I shared this news with Tammy yesterday. I got a message, got a call to sit on an advisory board for a charter school over in New Orleans. It's one of the biggest charter schools in New Orleans. It's Nola, and I'll be actually mentoring kids and people with different abilities and whatnot, kids with different abilities. So very fortunate to do that, and no cost. No, I'm not going to charge them anything. I'll be meeting with the advisory board that I'm sitting on this committee um, 4 times a year, and I'll be speaking at these charter schools with these kids with different abilities, along with who doesn't have a different ability. So It's very important, man. Very important.
Y'all look at God in this. Okay, so Trent laid in the hospital bed, saw the doctor bring in all this wheelchair and whatever else. You're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to do that. And Trent looks up. You talking? You're in the wrong room. That basically you're in the wrong room because no, that ain't me. That ain't for me, right?
Yeah.
In every situation, right? God is amidst. He's in the midst of us. He's in the midst of it.
Absolutely.
And he ain't doing something to you. He's using you for a lot of people. Now you got a brother that says, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to charge them a thing. Because you'll have some people go through that same thing and want to charge everybody everything. Trent said, I saw myself with a different lifestyle. I now have a different lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's like Mary with Jesus when there's a part, and y'all won't read this because it's not in our Bible. I read this in the Quran where when we were journaling through the scripture, the book of Mary, where she
Mhm.
said, you know what? This wasn't what I had. I'm saying in my words, this isn't what I had for my life. But God, if this is what you want me to be, a mother in this time, a woman in this time who's pregnant, does not have a husband. But don't y'all know they judged her? Don't y'all know the people were out for her? But God hid her. God fed her, right?
That's right.
God took care of her. So take your mouths you're off of people because you don't know what God is doing,
I gotta
right?
say this. I gotta say this real quick before I forget it. Tammy don't like me talking about this, but when I was in the rehabilitation center, and she and I have some private conversations where I spoke with her and told her what God has spoke to me, right? And I'm not the first person to be a holy road or a toting the Bible, anything like that. But the first person God asked me to call, and I'm still bedridden. He says, "Call Tammy." What did I do, Tammy?
You call with that story.
Call Tammy. And I told her everything that we're doing now, everything we're doing. What are we doing, Tammy?
Doing what
Are we
God told us to
podcasting?
do. Yeah,
Are we podcasting?
yeah.
I was still bedridden. The first person he told me, he didn't say nobody else. Call Tammy. Once I got straight, got out of the hospital, I was still in a wheelchair, bedridden, half blind. I could see now. Left side was blind, everything. I called her up. And here we are. And been
Amen.
hitting on all cylinders.
What lies in your heart? And God knows what lies in the hearts of his people. You
And
can
God
try to
also knows that
avoid
I
what
was a
you
hot mess, and Tam will be the one to put me together. So she would
God
tell me about
used me to put you together. Right.
that.
You know.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
he was doing that all alone, right? So he knew before, like I met you through Anthony. Don't even
Yeah.
remember how I met Anthony. I really don't. I don't
Right.
know
Right.
how
Right.
I ended up connecting. I think it may have been through his book. But what I'm saying, you guys, if you seek ye first the kingdom of God, your steps will be ordered. And wherever
Right.
you are, it's like Mary said, if this is what you want, God, if this is how you will have it, let it be. Let's do this. And there it speaks of the Quran spoke of times where I can't remember who it was that was taking care of Mary because she was hiding, right? Imagine God, y'all imagine just some of the things y'all have been through. Imagine that. Did God allow this? Did I miss it? Did I miss a moment here? Because Mary was like, I ain't missing it. This is what you have for me, so be it. And there were times when, gosh, I can't think of his name, y'all. He would come in to feed her and she would already have food in there. And it was food that was out of season, right? But it'd be sitting there. So even when it looks like you are going through something, you change that thing around. I'm growing through this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I see God all in this. See
Yeah.
me in the way that you want to. But see, it ain't your eyes that can elevate me. Your eyes can't call it or spoil it, right? As
Yeah,
Trent
you
said.
got to be prepared. You got to be prepared when God says something, and you gotta make sure you prepare because I'm super busy. Like today, I'm podcasting in France in the next half hour. I've been with Tammy all week and podcasting on Sunday. You gotta be prepared.
Passion
I'm
for
sitting,
what you're
I'm
passion
sitting
for
there
your
double
goal.
tasking right now. You gotta be
Yeah.
prepared, man. I'm like, I didn't ask for all this guy, but okay, I trust you. So
Yeah, yeah. So you
uh,
guys, our babies are so important. I'm telling you, every
yeah,
opportunity I get, I'm asking whether it's a young child, every time I see them, I'm saying something
I
to
hate when this
encourage them.
happens.
That's okay. Sometimes it just happens. Technology.
yeah. It's probably
Yeah,
not even you. It's probably StreamYard.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So
but we
Toy,
can make it do
anything?
what it do.
Oh yeah, it is. It's doing her really injustice today. So
Yeah, we're gonna make it
um,
do what it do.
yeah.
So
So
Tammy, you
anything
said you
you'd like?
speak to kids. You say you speak to kids. Are
Yes,
you
yes.
okay?
No, I mean, like, I don't. So now, of course, I used to have my 901 butterflies, the young girls, and then I had a group of young men. I had tried to get older guys, men, to do 901 evolution because it was butterfly evolution. It wasn't
Huh,
the older men that suited up and booted up and came to help. It was young. By
really,
young, I mean 23, 24 young men that came to
really.
the aid. Yes, young. You probably forgot about that part. But more importantly, you guys, is that's when I started to think and see, oh wow. And I asked God, I'm not being this is not successful because I'm taking these kids back to broken people who will continue to take away the little bit that I get to give for an hour or
Yeah.
two here or there, right? Just and so that's when I felt God opened the door for me to start doing coaching for couples, right?
Mhm.
It just all of a sudden they started calling, coming, right? And so I'm thinking, oh my gosh, so if I can help them restore, right? If I could help them um, heal, because when you have one plus one is only going to equal one. When you have two healthy people, they say you need one plus one should equal two in a relationship. I say no. One plus one should then equal one because if you are whole, healthy, happy in your heart, right? You know what lies in your heart, and you have a heart for people. Guess what? You're going to have a heart for your wife, for your
Right.
husband, for your child. The problem is our hearts, our hearts, right, are broken. Our hearts are broken. And God keeps trying to mend it. Like my son says, you mend the brokenhearted. But every time he puts something in there, he put a stitch in that wound. Guess what you do? You go right back to the same thing, person, feeling, thought that got you there. And what happens? The wound opens up again, right?
Then the
And
four
sometimes when
swords.
it opens up again, you allow that same thing to come back and wound you again. So the wound just gets worse and worse. And now you're not capable of guarding your heart so that you can love with your heart. You just let people walk all over you. You walk all over yourself. You don't let the creator himself order your steps. And when you don't
That's right.
let him, you are out of order and you're fighting yourself. And when you're fighting yourself, guess who you're fighting? You're fighting God.
Oh yeah.
You
I
know
looked
what?
at him, I thought, let me say this one, because that video, you
Right.
guys, and I talked to the guy. I called him yesterday, texted him, said, hey, can we chat? Because I didn't want to just put the video out there without his blessings. And he was like, oh, sure, yes. But I looked at that situation because when I got that text, I'm like, oh my God, I don't even have time to do what I have to do today. I don't have time for another video, right? I'm all, da
Mhm.
da 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 da, ratting and raving. And I needed that video. So here I am trying to, if I'm trusting God, when something comes my way, okay, I got to watch the video and end up watching it 3 times. So I made time for it. But before I was complaining, right? And God was sending me a message through that video. So I had to be like, God, I'm so sorry. But what is that teaching me? Let it flow. Let life flow. You just
Right.
glow through it because you know God is growing you through it. So glow. Let your light shine through this situation. Right? So if it comes your
So,
way, address it. But if it comes your way, allow it. Right? Accept it. Allow it to enter in, because if you know you are seeking God's face, then you know He's right there in the midst of that
Mhm.
thing.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
I'll tell you, God loves His children. I'm telling y'all, I believe we're His children, right? So imagine the babies. Imagine the babies. Imagine the dysfunction and the hurt that are put upon our babies because their mother and their father is still trying to find their way. So I'll turn it over to y'all before we get long winded. Let's do about just a few minutes here as we wrap it up. I know, Trent, you got to get out and go do your podcast. I got to get out and
Yeah.
get ready for a presentation tonight.
Yeah.
So y'all, let's go
I had a
around.
thought.
Let's start with you since you've not had a lot here. Let's start with you, and then we'll go to Trent, and I'm done. I'll close us out.
Cool. Cool.
Okay. I didn't say yesterday about my little background. I went to college for associate's degree in human service. So I before I became a cosmetologist, I worked in the school district for 9 years. And I
Oh,
understand helping others. I understand that, God said, you help mine, I shall help you. And it's so true. I was married, and it seemed like I was more single than I was married. But with me helping other children in the school, let me give a little example real quick. Um, I had a child that came in with shoes that were what we call talking,
Yes.
and oh my God, here I am. My kids are wearing the fashions, Timberlands, South Pole, Polo, etc., gold chains, etc. I felt so low to see this little boy every day. He would come in with sores in his head with ringworms, and not for nothing, I had medication that I had from previous. My one of my children had ringworm. I actually took that and brought it in because I had already mentioned it to the mother, and the mother gave me such slack. Why are you helping me? Let me tell you, I couldn't say what I wanted to say inside the school. Now, remind you, I'm younger. I'm a
right,
little
right.
bit. I'm a little bit more hot-headed, and I just shook my head. Well, I just tried. I waited till I got outside, and I said, "Let me tell you something." What I told her opened her eyes, and she bawled. I did. I
Mm,
thought I was gonna get feedback. I thought I was gonna have to knuckle up.
Wow.
Uh-uh.
You
She
you didn't give it
bawled.
you didn't give it a camel head shake, huh?
Oh, yeah, I gave it all. I gave it the screw face,
Uh-oh.
mm,
and when she bawled, I had to hold her in my arms and tell her it's okay. God sends people. You don't know how He's gonna send them. It's
Sure.
you don't know where that angel is gonna come from. Just be receptive, because if you deny what God sends you, He's not gonna send it again. And He said you must not need it.
Right.
Receive it.
Right.
Everybody needs some type of form of fashion of help. So
It's real
mm.
talk.
Did y'all hear the ringworm that her Toy's child had ringworm? So she had medicine for this child's situation. Don't y'all
Yeah.
see God in everything?
and shoes too.
Right.
I gave
And shoes too. Right.
I
You know?
took my son because they was wearing the same size. I took my son. I didn't live less than a block away. So for lunch, I forgot to tell y'all that. I went home and I snatched a pair of his Tims. My son was so mad with me. Why you? I said,
Uh-oh.
but I gave him. And that's kind of why the mother probably was upset that I was doing all this stuff for him, not
Yeah.
understanding. I've been there, you know.
Yeah.
I needed help too.
But
And
you
y'all, and
know,
even
when
that's a story with the mother, because the mother's like, people haven't helped me. Why are you doing this? What do you
Yeah.
want from me? Who do you think you are? Who am I to have somebody care for me in this way and my child? And when you told her when the truth, she broke.
She
The
broke.
truth sets you free. Somebody wants you to tell them about who you think they are and what they're doing, especially to their children, as we sit
yeah.
back and watch and do
You know what I
nothing.
get from I just you know what I got from out of that what Toy was saying? It's obedience in the giver. It's
Mm,
obedience in the giver. Meaning when we're in
mm,
desolate places,
mm.
we're always gonna be offended. We're always gonna be, why are you doing this for me? Because we don't feel like we're worthy of it. So there's obedience in the giver. That's a good thing, man. I
Absolutely.
can't even come behind that, Toy. That was powerful.
Oh,
That was
well, I
powerful.
appreciate it.
Y'all know what I just thought about? I'm gonna be a little selfish here. I just thought about how as I grew older and I sat back in the seat of my childhood, and I remembered and thought about how many people sat on the sideline and watched and knew what my brother and I were going through, and my mom.
And
How
did
many
not.
people knew and did nothing? And the
Yeah.
effects it had on us, still to this day, we are healing. And Tori, I know a lot. I was in my thoughts about this a few mornings ago about how many people, and this is came, we're gonna get out here for real. Um, what's her name? Stella, cousin Stella. She would
Hmm.
always, even down to the last time I was there. I'm gonna have this conversation with her just so that she knows I'm coming from a place of my heart. She says Tammy Gator was always the golden child, right?
Uh-oh.
And I laid up in that bed that morning and couple of last week, and I thought, wow, they had no idea what Tammy Gator was going through. They had
Exactly.
no
Guess what?
idea.
They used to tell me the same thing. I'm the
Toy.
golden child. I'm like, what does that mean?
But you know what God told me to do that morning? Is take the L away, baby. GOLD. Tell them now you God's child.
Oh, that's
You was
That's
powerful.
my
right.
child.
That's
And
right.
it was in my thoughts. I'm
That's
telling y'all, and
powerful.
That's
I'm
right.
talking it out because I'm still healing, you guys. There are some mornings I wake up and I remember the pain. I remember the fear that no child should have to endure the fear of seeing someone abuse her mother, right?
Ooh.
No child should have to see that, right?
Right.
No child should have to feel that pain, right? Even as an adult, I still feel it, which is why when I saw the guy's sister at Walmart, you know, y'all, it's like the wounds opened up again. And I got to ask her the question, did you know? I know she did, so I just need to hear her say, yes, I did. My next question, why didn't you do anything? Because there ain't nowhere in hell I would sit back and watch my brother hit on not a nail woman, period.
No, ma'am.
So
Nope.
I was one of these children that needed help. And I thought about also the headbanger, this little boy, and I'm gonna shut up real here, y'all. And y'all have heard this story. Maybe you haven't, Toy. When I worked in the school system in North Carolina, Lillington, North Carolina, there was this young man that had to wear a helmet because he was known as the headbanger. It
Right.
was a counselor that came in for him to sit through because he had, the IEP and all of that. She had to sit through. He had a male teacher, first male teacher. She noticed that whenever the male teacher started to, if he raised his voice a little bit, if he stood a little bit taller, the little boy would go bang his head. What was happening is at home was his mom was being brutally beaten by his father. And to mask the pain, he would get in between the bed and the wall. And to mask out the noise of his mom getting beaten, he would bang
Mm-mm.
his head on the wall to the point it would bleed.
Mm.
So he, even at school, he had to wear a helmet because if he was triggered, that's what he would do. He would want to bang his head. That was his medicine. That was his survivor kit. A child.
Mm.
A child. But God sent somebody. But you know what? That probably wasn't the first somebody that he had sent. It's just those other ones probably was not aware enough. They probably was sitting up in the class on their phones, thinking about where were they going to go after work. They weren't in tune in the situation. They
Yeah.
weren't present.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna, especially for my folks who are listening on this side where Tyson is, to the men. And if you're a woman, go tell them I said it about them. Right? Get your ass up and help us in this family. It is time. And I'm going to say it on this other side too. Men, wake up. These children need you. These young boys and girls need you.
Yes. Yes.
They need the structure that you bring, right? You are the father. The father. God allowed you to be the man, the head of your house, right? So what lies in your heart? Let's keep it real. Are you chasing them dresses?
Uh-oh.
Chasing that dollar?
Uh-oh.
Right? Toy said she went home and got a pair of them shoes and told her son when he said something, boy, you know, you probably ain't had to say it, just that look, if you don't sit down somewhere, all this stuff you got.
Absolutely.
So, y'all, we have a duty and responsibility to our children. You know what? Why? What and why? So they not here still trying to get that mended, that broken heart mended. Let's not wound them because life's gonna do it for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we not raise them up a bit better emotionally, physically, healthy, fit, down to what they put in their bodies, right? Let's let them remain a child, the
Yeah.
pure essence and beauty of a child. So like my beautiful kid Sally said that day when I was helping Tupac a bit more than her because I thought she was fine. The neighbor had given them some cars. She seemed to be doing fine with making it work. So I'm spending all this time with Tupac and she looks at me and cries out with tears, "Grandma, what about
What
me?"
about me? I remember you calling me, telling me that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I said, if more adults could say, "What about me? I'm hurting. I need help." That was a whole thing. So much of a thing. I'm thinking about going to TED Talk with it. My top, what about me?
That's a good idea.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, what about you?
Yeah.
What about your heart? What about what you are teaching these children? How to be emotionally? Are you teaching them to water down or that their feelings and their emotions don't count? You know?
Right.
What about me, Grandma? She said. And then I had an opportunity to explain. Grandma's sorry. Grandma just thought you had it. You were doing so well, right? Sometimes the people who look like they're doing the
Hey,
best or the most, ooh, they need you the most. Because they so
Exactly.
busy pouring
somebody.
into somebody else and everybody else that they don't even love on themselves.
Ooh. Hit a
Exactly.
soft spot there.
Yeah.
You hit that
They
soft
say
spot.
it's hard for a good hearted person. They say it's hard out here. What's this about the pimp?
Hard out here for a
Hard
It's
idea
for
for a pimp.
yeah.
how
It's
the
Hard
hard
keeper
idea.
out
say,
here
honey in the rent.
for a person with a good heart.
Exactly.
Y'all be walking on them. Yeah, Miss Brenda say, check on your strong friends. Check on the people who are there for you the
Yeah.
most.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
real talk.
You know, check on you. I watched Wednesday. I was off, y'all. My phone went off so much, and I'm like, my God. You know, it's hard out here, but it don't have to be because everybody should have right or should know what lies in their heart. Learn to guard your heart so that the right thing lies in it and that you can pour it out into
Yeah.
people.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'll stop there. I'll stop there. Trent, you got to be on in just a minute here. Y'all,
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
This is good, but I have to say this, man. When yeah, check on your strong friends, but when you're connected to your maker, when you're connected to God, let me tell you something. I was bedridden, alone, but I wasn't alone.
Mm.
Let me repeat that. I was bedridden, alone, but I wasn't alone. And through this entire process,
Mm.
4.5 years, I have never felt like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I've been so calm through this process because I got God with me. And he told me, I've always loved you like I love David. When I asked him and cried out to him, don't leave me. He said, Trini, what are you talking about? He used my birth name. What are you talking about, Trini? He said, I'll never leave you. I've always loved you like I love David. From that moment on, it's been on and popping. From the wheelchair to the walker, to the cane, to the walking stick,
To the gym,
to the gym.
To the gym.
you know. And y'all,
To the,
God speaks to all. We all sat up here and told you about where we've heard the voice of God. Do you think He's not talking to you because you're His child too?
yeah,
Oh yeah.
You're His child. He loves you like He loves me.
yeah.
Oh
There was
yeah.
That
a time where I
motivation,
didn't think He loved me like He loves me.
that
Right?
motivation hit different when
Yes.
Yeah.
when you hear God's voice,
The day
it's
you hear my
something that's
voice.
injected into you, man. It's something that's injected into you. A lot of folks always tell me, man, you're so strong. I'm like, it's not me, it's him.
It's God.
That's it. That's it.
It's not me at all. I'm not strong. I'm, I'm not strong. You think I want this?
That's
I'm
right.
not strong. It's
That's
not
right.
me, it's him.
Mm, mm,
It's
mm.
him
My words, Trent. My words. It's not me.
at all. I used to be the most
Mm.
arrogant, egotistical, motivational speaker. Tammy could she could talk about it. I was a hot mess, man. I thought everything was about Trent. Everything was me. Everything. Look at me.
Yeah, he
I'm
walk
going
in like
to
he never
the
pees or
Bahamas.
boo boos. Like I'm so good. I don't have to pee pee or boo boo ever.
It's the truth, though. It's the truth, man.
But
But
you know what, y'all?
I-
Just like Brandon was
Okay.
talking about Pharaoh. I don't know if y'all heard the story that Brandon was sharing about what the Quran said, because we were talking about Pharaoh and like why did God um keep hardening Pharaoh's heart, right?
yeah,
But the Quran speaks about so that he might see. So we thought the story was about something else, and it probably more to it, but the Quran
it
speak
was a
about
Pharaoh.
so that Pharaoh may see. And sometimes, a lot of times, I think what we go through, God is growing us through, and He wants to perfect our spiritual eyes, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
And so some of the things, so God's like, so that you may see me, that you may see me again. And the more you see him and you hear his voice, right?
that's right.
And you
That's
learn and that you are a servant, y'all, the more of that, the more you hear his voice. Because it's not that
right.
he's not speaking. It's that
That's right.
your spiritual ears are not turned on. You're distracted. You're blinded by
Yeah,
what
we
you hear.
preaching this morning, so I'm gonna roll right into France from here. But I gotta say this,
I,
man.
okay.
Say this, we're having church
Get
this
the friend.
morning.
It's
We're having
7:58.
church this morning. But when this happened to me, God had placed me on such of a pedestal, right? I was speaking in the Bahamas and in Jamaica, having all types of stuff in France, all that stuff, right? All that stuff, followers all over there, across the pond, everything. But I stopped in that momentum to open a bar and grill. All the gifts that he gave me, I stopped in the middle of that to open a bar and grill. Tammy was trying to circle back and try to, incorporate something into what I've done done to myself. Let's just say that, and try to do something positive with it. None of that stuff worked. After that, somebody got killed at the bar. The bar, they fined us over 10 grand for doing all this other crazy stuff. Then my brother passed away. My mother passed away 2 months and 10 days later. 6 months later, I became paralyzed,
Oh,
partially paralyzed. 6 months after all that stuff was going on, right? After God told me what to do to contact Tammy, He put me in a wheelchair to walk again. I was placed in a wheelchair to walk again, and it was like the way I took it, what it was doing to me. So I told you what to do, but you went the other
Detour.
way. I'm gonna slow you down so we can get this right.
That's I was thinking. He quieted your life that you may
Yeah,
see.
He
yeah,
He
detoured
sat
you.
you down that you
yeah.
might remember what you
So
saw,
when I,
what he
when
told
I
you.
speak to the people over at the medical center, I tell them, I said I was placed in that wheelchair to walk again, and they looking at me like I'm crazy. I was literally placed in that wheelchair to walk. This happened on purpose, for a purpose.
He detoured you,
Absolutely,
slowed you down
absolutely.
just a bit. That's it.
Yeah.
He wants you
I
to
ain't
do
even
his
go at
will.
church this morning, but this is some good stuff. I feel like I'm gonna put
Yeah.
something into the collection
Yeah.
pot or something. It's
You
good
want my
stuff.
cash app? I got
I
one.
already got
Hey,
it.
hey, Tammy, go ahead and make sure you do that Cash App on your page so that people will know. Because I promise you, people want to give, especially when they can't go out to a church to hear. You're
That's real
healing a lot of people and you just don't know it.
Hmm.
And it's not like you're begging at all.
exactly. I share another quick story that I gotta get out of here. Like my brother, Al Sal, is a faithful viewer of Tammy's. So he called me every morning. I'm at the gym working out. I was like, "What's up? Hey man, you heard the butterfly show?" I'm like, and I'm with that. I'm gonna be very transparent. I say, "Damn, nigga, you watching that more than me."
Well,
So
I love that.
he's giving me all this information and whatnot, but he's so inspired by Tammy and Brandon to the point where now he's working out with me. He's
Oh,
working out with me. So
He
this,
woke up.
Tammy, I totally agree with Toy when you ought to just place your cash up out there because you're actually giving out great information. So
Trent,
Yeah.
you have to help me do that because I don't know how to do all that. Like
I,
I
I
Please
I'll
do.
show you. I'll walk you through it.
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
I'll
okay.
Yeah.
walk you
It's just
You're
y'all.
valued.
It's
You're
just
very
okay, and I
valued.
appreciate that. And I need you guys to know that I'm growing too. I'm still healing. God is still,
through it.
and He
Absolutely.
will forever be right. And so, don't think because I'm over here doing it that I got it all together. But I'm
No,
gonna
he
tell you
needs
what,
people. He
I'm
needs
gonna
people
get
like
it
you.
together. Yeah, I'm
I,
Right.
telling
I'm
you.
sorry to interject, but he
No.
needs people like you, Tammy. Needs people like Trent. Needs people like me that have a story to tell. That
Hmm.
we're not saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, but
At
we
all.
know where that blessing comes from,
Yeah,
Exactly.
and we need to let everybody know of His goodness. That's
that's
it.
right.
That's
Hmm.
it.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. Because I
Wow.
still cuss. I still cuss now. I still cuss. I still get it in. But hey, man, I'm grateful. I'm blessed and I'm grateful.
Yeah, y'all, this has been great. I know we gotta jump off of here. I do. I know because I gotta get prepared to for tonight, and I know Trent has a show coming up. I just need you guys today ponder and do there's so much you could do for a child. Just when you pass a young man or a young woman, say hi. Ask them how they're doing in school. I
Right.
never miss an opportunity. I remember when I asked a young man that in Little Caesars Pizza as I went to pick up my pizza, and he shared with me that, well, it's okay, but I'm not doing so well in a class because we don't have books. And I'm like, what do you mean? Brandon was in college. What do you mean you don't have books? Well, one of my classes we don't have books, but the teacher still tests us like we have one. What? I called the school. Teacher got all nasty with me, in her little funk. Okay, you don't even know who you're talking to. I called the district
Superintendent.
office, right? And the
Right.
lady who was over that particular grade, she said, "What? What do you mean they don't have books?" She said, "I think the books are right here on the shelf. They just have to order them, submit the requisition for them." Because I used to work in the school system, so I know how all that works. But do you not
Right.
think that God placed me right there so that I could help that young man and the rest of the students? Because y'all, trust me, y'all sending y'all kids to broken teachers, right? They got lives just like us and they caught up in it just like us, right? So I have a
Right.
duty and responsibility for every child that I encounter. And I tell you what, that lady called me back. She said, "Thank you." they will have books tomorrow.
All right. Amen.
You
Amen.
know what I'm
Right.
saying? That
Yeah.
guy, they had been in school a couple of months. So sometimes all you got to do is say, even when people are checking you out, checking your groceries out, you know, young kids, how are you today? How's school? What's
Right.
your major? Stay in school, young man.
Hmm.
You
I
know,
see you, Brandon. Good morning, brother.
stay in school. So we have a duty.
Hey,
Brandon's out here. Hey, Brandon. We have a duty and responsibility, you guys. So what lies in your heart? Because out of
Exactly.
it flows the issues of your life, but so also the glory of your life, right? So let's get out. Brandon, you know
hey,
what
cuz.
you got to
Stuff.
do.
Love you.
Yeah, we love you. We rooting for you. We praying for you. Go do what you got to do. Come on home.
Al Sal and I'll
Look,
be watching. We
Brandon,
have it queued
Brandon,
up on
they trying to
the
take
pay per
your
view.
job. Y'all heard I told Brandon. They're trying to steal
Yeah,
your
yeah,
thunder,
yeah, yeah.
Brandon. They doing good. All right, y'all. We got to get out of here. It's about to be 9 o'clock. Trent's got to get on. Or 8
Take
o'clock.
Yeah.
care. Safe travels. God bless.
All right,
Good stuff.
Toy, I'll touch base with you about noon today.
Okay.
We'll
Sound
get
good.
everything worked out, but we're good. We're good to go.
Okay.
Okay. Love
Okay.
y'all, everybody.
Love you
But hey,
all.
wait. We this is not how we do it. Y'all ready?
Gotta do that music, pull that music out of there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's that, but y'all got to agree to it. Come on. Come on,
Wait a
Toy.
minute. He's got me.
You can bob your head. You can bob.
Uh-oh.
Look how we do it. Y'all see Brandon be like, Mama, why you always hold your mouth like that? That's a culture thing.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I was twerking.
There you go. Hey, and that's the senior twerk.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Y'all
Hey,
go
listen, if
do
you
life
can,
today. Y'all listen to
if you
Trent.
guys can,
You
tune
talking
in
about cancer
in
today,
about
right?
15 minutes. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Y'all talking about cancer today, right?
We were talking about what's cancer. About
Where
15
do
minutes.
we find you?
So he's gonna send me the link and I'm gonna post it on my page. Okay? All right. Y'all be great. Thank you everyone for tuning in. See you tomorrow, same place, same time.
Bless you.
Be great. Go be great.
You guys be epic.